right,
let's jump into it right now. Our next match is going to be DFW FX Sethlon versus Mook.
Another loser's bracket match. Looks like it's going to be the other side.
Now, Sethlon is a character. No, Sethlon is interesting. He plays multiple Smash games.
He is
but
he's a character.
Yeah, he's not. He doesn't play. He doesn't have a particular favorite game. He just has a particular favorite character, and that just happens to be Roy.
Yeah, if I was gonna say anything about Roy, it's that I sometimes call Roy Sethlon just because of how well known he is for playing this character.
That is true. He is Roy. Roy is his boy.
But one thing to note about Roy is that his offstage game is not the best. Once you get him off stage, he probably is not the hardest thing to edgeguard, and Pikachu excels in that department.
Yeah, Pikachu excels in a lot of things. What Roy does excel at is power and on-stage presence.
Oh yeah. On stage, Pikachu usually can zip around with quick attack, but Roy actually does have some pretty safe, non-committal, and fast moves to deal with that, like his neutral B or his jab. And because he has a disjoint, he can deal with it a lot better than some other characters. So,
exactly.
What he doesn't have is a projectile, so when Pikachu runs out with those Thunder Jolts, it's a little bit harder to deal with.
Now, Mook is really running away with this one right now. They're about...
That said, sometimes Roy just reminds me of Lucario. It's not nearly as drastic, but when he has Rage, his forward smash is very, very powerful.
Yes, and a lot of his power comes from the hilt of his sword, too. It's almost the exact opposite as Marth.
Yeah. Oh, most sword characters, you want to just hit at the very edge of their space just because it's really good spacing. Marth benefits even further with his tippers. But Roy really loves hitting at the hilt of his sword where it does the most damage.
I feel like it's similar to Ike, but what Ike doesn't have is just how reliant and quick it is. It didn't really work out at Melee for Roy, but for sure, you know, this game is...
Oh, yeah. He's seen a couple of changes
right
in this
there.
game.
Right there.
See?
Perfect setup.
Very, very strong.
Really great tech chase on his end. And you saw he took like almost improbable deficit and just closed the gap.
Kind of reminds me of Donkey Kong in that sense, where he'll just take it like he. Okay, so it's not super apparent if you're just looking at the screen. Roy's actually kind of a heavier character. Like he's not super heavy, but he's definitely not light, and he's a bit above midweight, I would say.
Yeah.
So he will live to pretty dang high percents.
He's probably out of all the Fire Emblem characters, second heaviest. But
second Ike, probably.
It's probably obvious.
Yeah. But I mean, when you're that heavy and you can make it back because your opponent's not edgeguarding you proper, and you got all that rage, I mean, you're just a machine. And right now it's just even. So after that first dog, it looks like Sethlon getting a little bit of confidence in this neutral, and he's just like keeping it even.
Well, you saw it too. Mook just was on a spurt of momentum, just building that damage up and actually bringing it back.
Oh no!
The Thunder Jolt is gonna take him.
So the Thunder Jolt, he was probably trying to do an action before then and ended up buffering his forward air out of the Thunder Jolt, which ended up putting him too low to recover with that up B.
If he was facing the other direction, it might have worked. However,
that's what I was thinking. But I mean, the Thunder Jolt turned him around. So
yes,
good by Mook. Very good to know that even if he's not on stage, it's never time to stop applying pressure. And going into game 2, though, Sethlon doesn't seem too happy about that loss, so he's going straight back to the same stage.
Yeah, and a lot of that, too. A lot of players, there's two ways of looking at it. Either one, they're really salty about it, or two, which I think is actually in Sethlon's case, because of how he keeps his composure, you just want to keep that momentum up. He felt like he wasn't far behind. You just want to jump back into it and just keep it going.
It definitely wasn't the stage's reason that happened. Just one minor mistake happened, and he lost a stock.
Exactly.
Happened to be his second one. Now he's going into this game knowing, hey, it wasn't too big. I can come back from this. Oh my goodness.
Right there.
Really good job catching that get up.
Something about Sethlon, too, he's really scary when you're on the ledge.
Oh, yeah.
You'll think you'll putting it into perspective, his neutral B does he have a jump? Oh, he's just going to make it. But his neutral B, he'll sit there, and he'll either hit it with you, or if you're smart enough and know how to roll behind him, he'll let it go, and he has just enough frames to pivot forward tilt. And that hits like a truck, too.
Oh, yeah. It's very strong. It's just like 12%, but a ton of knockback.
Yeah. No, Roy is like obscenely amazing with his his power.
Because it's worth noting that neutral B does not have a lot of end lag, so he can cover a bunch of options with it. That's one reason that Sethlon still loves this character in Smash 4 is like he loves being able to cover a bunch of options. He's very good at covering, like tech chasing you and making sure that he does the most optimal coverage.
That was a really nice setup too on Mook's end. With I think it was forward air to up smash.
Yeah, I mean you got to get creative with Pikachu to get into those kill setups because not all of them are confirmed. But I mean, you can definitely make something work.
Pikachu definitely does not have. Pikachu, you know, he has a better time than most
solid
characters.
Forward tilt, catching the roll.
That's what I was saying earlier. That thing hits so hard.
Sethlon turned around briefly to make Mook think he was going to attack that way, and then immediately turned back with forward tilt.
This is something too that I mentioned him when I played it. When he was first starting, I explained to him like I barely beat you. I told him.
Yeah.
However, I feel like I was beating you with Smash 4 knowledge, but you're just beating me in general Smash knowledge.
Yes.
And that same night, after I sent him to losers, he literally ran a train on like Gibbous, Gio, just all these top players, just 0-2, and finishes second to Denti.
He just has really, really good fundamentals. But continuing on, speaking of, it looks like he had enough momentum in that game to scare Mook off of Pikachu onto his Fox. And we're taking this game to Town and City.
Yeah, I don't know if this is the right choice. We'll see how it pays off, but normally switching to your character game 3,
it can kind of throw yourself off.
I believe so. Sometimes you just gotta
stick it out.
Yeah, and it wasn't like
it wasn't a blowout.
It wasn't a blowout. Little Pack had this issue too a while.
You just gotta learn how to have faith in your character and not lose faith, not lose your composure after you lose one game.
Yeah, this game, fighting games in general just are really high on emotions.
Oh yeah,
emotions play a huge role. And
but
Sethlon is one of the most composed, has one of the best composures.
Definitely. But I mean, it doesn't look like this was a bad choice for Mook because he had pretty even in percent.
Ooh!
And he was able to catch him right before he was able to snap to the ledge with that down smash. Really good timing by Mook.
Yeah, Roy is one of those characters that just commits a little bit over the edge with his recovery. Allows Fox to just clip him with his down smash.
We're seeing really smart just neutral play. Mook not committing to any options because he knows he has a lead and he doesn't want to run into a strong move that Sethlon's using to cover space. Ooh, but really good option by Sethlon. That's a very strong move. The up B. Note that it has super armor on startup on the ground, and it's a very good out of shield option. Ooh. Mook trying to mix up his recovery a little bit, and that he does.
Ooh, nice jab.
Nice catch.
He understood the priority on that is not that high, and he just trades it with the jab, and actually would put himself in a better position. But he's starting to bring this back,
Man, this is such like knowledge from Sethlon. He got the nair, and then he sat in his shield because he knew that Mook had a fast enough option to get out of it, and so he could get the grab.
And right there, he did it again earlier too, just now. Ooh, up smash is gonna catch it.
I mean, Sethlon got that neutral get up read with his neutral B, and it looks like Mook is returning the favor with that up smash.
Yeah, very smart stuff reading the shield grab. Mook is going to take it 2-1.
Yeah.